Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you see this. Namaste. 3rd of May. Here we go, rushing into... Here we just go. It's Wednesday. Cheers. Excuse me. Bit of a Dear Diary today, okay? It's music related, but I just I had an interesting day yesterday. Jim Fields is a local filmmaker and friend of mine who gave me my first soundtrack job when I did Flyover Country for him, which led to my album Flyover, and then I did his next film, Life After X. I actually have I have less than 10 of these CDs left for sale, which you can get through Bandcamp. Get one on Bandcamp Friday. But Jim, for a while there, thought he was done with making movies. It's so expensive as an independent, and he had a partner that ran out on him. And boy, that's such a common thing to happen to people, that you form partnerships and your partner turns out to be crooked and runs off with all the money or something. Well, anyway, Jim has started this new documentary process that he's doing on the history of rock music in Nebraska. Now, from my perspective, and we talked quite a bit yesterday, he was over almost all day, filming me as well as getting information from me, because Nebraska has a deep history when it comes to music and rock and roll. And I'm glad that Jim is doing this, because as he started the process of looking into where to start and who to talk to, already so many important people are gone, have passed away already, regarding the history of music in my state. And so I said to him, yeah, this is good, get going. And I helped him by giving him names of people that he didn't know, that I know are important to the situation, to the history. We taped me for 3 hours. Of course, you can't use all that, but that was that much information that I had to share. His questions, he had some really good questions. And even though we spent that much time talking, I still didn't get my whole story and everything that I could share out. There's so much. It was great. A big part of the story was racism. For folks who just don't want to hear about it, that's the reality of my life. It's not a card. It's the harsh reality. The racism coming from people who would dare to say that me talking about my life is pulling a card. That's lowbrow. It's just bullshit. I told him some stories that just made his eyes go like this, and he's behind the camera, about some of the things that I went through just trying to play music in the Midwest. As we talked, it became apparent, much more apparent to me as well as to him, that I'm far from being the first black rock and roller in Omaha, Nebraska, but I'm one of them. I actually am. When I started playing rock music in the 70s in a band, I looked around and there were no other black people playing rock and roll. There were other bands, obviously. And so that was that's an important part of the story that will not be hidden. And as I explained to Jim, it's really not a whole lot better now. So I will always bring it up. Always bring it up. So that was wonderful, okay? A couple more things, and then I'll do a pull, because I just listened to some Gordon Lightfoot yesterday. That's the only record I played. This was originally titled Sit Down Young Stranger, and then this is reissue after the hit. But recently I had a couple people buy the Dereck 2 CD that I made in 2004. And when I made this at the time, I only had one option, which was to order 1,000 copies, at least as far as I could tell. So I've had these. But when I sold this and then looked to see on the how many I had left on the Bandcamp, it had too many. It said I had over 100 of these left. I don't. And it did feel for a time like I was going to have these forever. I have maybe 20 of these left. Dereck number 2. I'll say the Gordon Lightfoot influences on that CD, as well as the Brian Eno influence, and you can hear some of my on that one. So today I'm expecting the delivery of the second edition of The Muse. We're starting to get airplay. I really appreciate that. We got played on a station in Rochester, New York yesterday. It's also on a podcast. It's just really cool to hear the music in perspective and in conjunction with other artists. Kind of cool to be played alongside Aksak Mabul and Slap Happy. So that's what my day is about, is waiting for delivery. And like I said, Bandcamp Friday is this Friday, so I will put the second edition. I'll make it available starting midnight. Friday. Okay. Also, I just heard from Discus Music. We are going to set up a deal so that there will be an amount. I agreed to send 20 of the 100 overseas through Discus, so there will be 20 copies of The Muse available soon, hopefully by in just a couple of weeks, available in Europe, so you don't have to, like I said, pay postage to get it from America. I will take the loss so that you can get the music. I don't mind that. I really don't. Well, one other thing is kind of cool. While I was doing the interview for the documentary yesterday, Jim asked me, how many bands I had been in. I said, well, I'd started a list. It's incomplete, but I had to go print it out. And I've been in 50 different bands since I started playing music. 50 different bands, different configurations. That's a lot of experience. Session musicians can talk about the hundreds and even thousands of sessions that they do. People who play in bands and perform with other artists. We have our cumulative lists of what we've done. Damn near 50 bands. Well, like I said, I have to add David Nance to this list. He wasn't on here, so that makes it 49. But I'm still forgetting some. As I look at it here, it's like I know I'm forgetting something. That was kind of cool to look at and see. Still with me? I appreciate that most of you folks are really decent. Oh, I didn't show this, so I do have. Okay. So I was like doing a prog jag. I love prog when I'm in the mood. And so this is one of my favorites, Tarkus, as well as this cover. I love this cover. I didn't bother to buy a picture disc when it came out. It looks cool as a picture disc, but I don't need it. It would just be junk in the house. I think this is really a tour de force. Interesting that Greg Lake didn't like the idea when it first came up. It's one of their best. It's just awesome. I love it. I love that cover. That's the last thing I played other than playing the new records I got from the record show, and then I return listen to this, where I got this recently from the 70s. Walter Wakemuller, Tarot. This is awesome. It's the entire gamut of cosmic rock, spacey, rocking, humorous, really good, real good, real good. Okay, so let me do a poll, because I'm just still kind of in my mind. I'm thinking about this documentary. It's kind of on my mind. I'm going to help Jim with it. Actually, I'm going to help him contact people and get them involved. And also, I'm going to help him cover the minority perspective as much as possible regarding the history of rock music in Nebraska. Because then again, we start talking about, well, what's rock and what's not, and then a lot of music that was coming out while rock was developing here in the Midwest, it was still a lot of the black bands mainly playing soul and R&B. But there's crossover in there. We did cover it. We talked about LA Carnival, but there's several other bands from that time and before that. I'm also going to say out loud here to remind myself I need to see who is still around from the Buddy Miles days, because Buddy Miles is gone, and several of those guys who were in the Electric Flag with Buddy and Mike Bloomfield, Hoshel Wright, a couple of the other guys, they passed away already. But I'm going to see if I can get Stemsy, because that's rock music. They're part of history. Electric Flag, are you kidding me? They played at Monterey. I'm going to try to get him for the documentary. I'm going to see, I think Hank Red, who played with Stevie Wonder. Now, that's not rock, but Hank Red had the band Maxane, who were on Capricorn Records. And it was funky, but it was they were trying to cross over. They were incorporating rock. So I'm going to see about trying to help get these people involved and their input on this documentary. This project could be epic, and Jim is realistic, knowing that he may not have even a first cut to look at until next fall. He has a lot of work to do. I like his idea, and I'm going to help him. Okay, let's do a poll. Let's do a poll up here. These up here are so jammed together. What did I pull? Another giant that we recently lost, Yukihiro Takahashi. This album is fantastic. This is in the same. It has some of the same qualities that I like about Gordon Lightfoot and some of the other people that I really admire. These people know how to take the few chords that exist and come up with something unique all the time and beautiful. Can't think of the title of it here. I probably wouldn't be able to tell you even seeing it. But there's a couple tracks on here that are just gorgeous, and when I get off of here, I'm going to play this. I found this used. These records are hard to find, and I was like, wow, somebody really liked this record or played it a lot because it's all beat and stuff. It's the only time I've ever seen a vinyl copy, and of course I had to get it. Sakamoto right at the top here. You know, it's Yellow Magic Orchestra Plus, because it's got both Hosono and Sakamoto on here. I love this music. Janice Pendarvis is on here. Background vocals. I don't know her personally, but I know of the Pendarvis family. Dolette McDonald is on here too. Good pull. I'm going to stop on this. This is significant. I will be playing this. What a loss. We just, last thing I'll say regarding music, just my opinion, like everything here. So if you don't like what I say, just hold on to your hat. It's my life, not yours, to criticize this. And if I get some folks this time, it's a couple of people who are just real pinheaded. Yeah, they are pinheaded, if I hear some crap from them today, I'll try to leave it up for a while so some of the other people can see some of the idiocy that I deal with. It's just really stupid, really ignorant, really racist too. But what I was about to say is, I see in the music news, because I check the music news every day, throughout the day, that the 2023 list of inductees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame have been announced. My comment is, isn't it time for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to recognize that many of the architects of what we call rock and roll, they're dying and they're going to be dead before they get a chance to be inducted? I say it's time for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to be realistic and do a sweep to literally go back and start with the foundations of rock and roll and see who's still alive and to honor those people. There's a lot of people, very important behind the scenes as well as up front, people who created this wonderful world of music that we're in, and they're not in the Hall of Fame. There's bands that it's like it's a sin, and these new artists that are like being inducted, happy for them, they deserve it. But I'm saying I think it's a block on reality that the Hall of Fame can't see fit to do. They said, like, it's time. We're losing these people. Let's get them in. They're supposed to be in. Let's give them their recognition. That's my last thought regarding music. Okay, people, have a good one, family. Hope you're all good. Talk to me, people.